Atlanta's traffic court solicitor files a lawsuit to stop city judges from signing warrants in traffic cases. Louise Hornsby believes they are interfering with traffic court and that she alone should decide which cases to prosecute. With that case set for early October, 11 News has learned one of Hornsby's own assistants has been accused of ticket fixing in the same court. Jim Shuler has this exclusive investigation in tonight's cover story.
And this is Robert Meyer that just walked in.
And this is you behind the counter?
Right.
Okay.
The man behind the counter in this surveillance tape is Alpharetta pawn shop owner Ron Downey. The man facing the camera is part-time Atlanta traffic court solicitor Robert Meyer. And he's about to tell the pawn shop owner about an ongoing federal probe in Atlanta traffic court. Solicitor Meyer's conversation revealing the ongoing state and federal probes was captured on security cameras last October.
The conversation takes place in front of the camera behind the counter.
Now, pawn shop operator Ron Downey has turned over a copy of this surveillance tape to the Georgia Bar Association. These confidential documents obtained by 11 News disclose the pawn shop owner filed an official grievance with the state bar against attorney Robert Meyer. The grievance accuses Solicitor Meyer of fraud, terroristic threats, and abusing his position as an Atlanta traffic court prosecutor. The pawn shop owner's grievance says his surveillance tape is evidence that he happened to catch a conversation with Mr. Meyer where they discussed ticket fixing. Ron Downey's official grievance alleges Meyer, quote, offered to fix tickets or citations at the Atlanta traffic court for money if Downey knew anyone that needed help down there. Attorney Meyer can be heard on the videotape explaining the climate in Atlanta traffic court at the time solicitor Louise Hornsby hired him as a part-time prosecutor.
The judges took over the clerk's office, seized all the files, and started making their own calendar. They put 800-900 cases for it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then for the whole month, plus a couple days. They put 31 jury cases on a day. She said, I ain't got the manpower for this, and the people I got ain't adequate. They just don't know how to try. Come on down here and help me.
Then the tape records the pawn shop operator telling Solicitor Meyer he has no use for his alleged influence in Atlanta city courts.
Well, in the short term, it's killing me, Ron. But the long term, it's going to make me very wealthy, you know? But it's the wrong...
But if you live up here in the country, you don't...
The pawn shop owner's grievance alleges Solicitor Meyer offered to fix tickets, quote, so that he could generate more cash. According to the grievance, to pay off a $10,000 pawn shop loan to Downey, along with, quote, some other people he owed, specifically gambling debts. And on the tape, Solicitor Meyer confides he needs to raise some fast cash.
Well, I'm getting up to my... I have got to start turning cash. I got another week to just hellhole down there.
I discovered that I actually had a tape of our conversation, and I went to... my attorney suggested that I go to the GBI.
And did you?
And I did. And they referred me to the FBI.
And did you go to the FBI?
And I went to the FBI. And they were supposed to be doing an investigation of this thing.
But the FBI refuses to confirm an ongoing traffic court probe, and Solicitor Robert Meyer denies the allegations.
If I was inclined to fix a ticket, or if anyone was inclined to fix a ticket down here, I believe it's impossible at this point. The restraints are so tight that I don't think it's a possibility that it could be done.
Okay, well, Jim, what does the Bar Association say about these allegations of the ticket fixing?
Well, I'll tell you, in spite of the documentation that Ron Downey claims to have against Solicitor Robert Meyer, the Bar Association says that this grievance doesn't fall under their jurisdiction, even though that same Bar Association once suspended Robert Meyer from practicing law in Georgia for 2 years. And I'll have the rest of that story tonight at 11 o'clock.
All right, then we'll see.
From signing warrants in traffic cases, Louise Hornsby alleges those judges are interfering with the operations of her traffic division and that she alone should decide which cases to prosecute. But even as Hornsby is suing the city she was elected to serve, 11 News has learned that one of the solicitor's own assistants has been accused of ticket fixing. Jim Shuler has this exclusive investigation in tonight's cover story.
Derby 13. Well, I'm getting up to my... I have got to start turning cash. I got another week to just hellhole down there.
The man discussing his financial troubles is part-time Atlanta traffic court solicitor Robert Meyer. In October '93, this pawn shop security camera caught Meyer revealing details of an ongoing federal corruption probe in Atlanta traffic court.
The judges took over the clerk's office, seized all the files, and started making their own calendar. They put 900 cases.
Pawn shop operator Ron Downey says he took this surveillance tape to the FBI and sent another copy in a state bar grievance. He alleges Meyer offered to fix tickets so he could generate more cash to pay off a $10,000 pawn shop loan and some other people he owed, specifically gambling debts. These records on file with the Georgia Supreme Court reveal that Downey's grievance is not the first complaint registered with the state bar against attorney Robert Meyer. The Supreme Court records reveal the state disciplinary board once took extreme action against Robert Meyer after he was accused of converting a client's funds into his own accounts. The bar suspended Meyer from 1986 to 1988, prohibiting him from practicing law anywhere in the state of Georgia for 2 years. All the justices concurred, and the state bar urged that Meyer be disbarred from practice in Georgia altogether.
When you see this report that says he's been suspended by the bar for 2 years, did you wonder how someone been suspended by the bar could end up working as an assistant solicitor for the city of Atlanta?
Exactly.
Solicitor's office?
Who's doing the hiring down there? How did this guy get hired if he's already been suspended once?
That is a question for Atlanta Traffic Court Solicitor Louise Hornsby, who should also explain how she could hire Meyer to prosecute traffic court cases in Atlanta when just last year Meyer himself was found in contempt of traffic court by a Douglas County judge. Court records show Meyer was cited for running a red light with no proof of insurance in 1991 and then failed to resolve his own traffic violations for almost 2 years. He forfeited bond and was fined $300 for contempt. And yet another case involving Robert Meyer is waiting to be resolved in Meyer's own hometown of Alpharetta. This time, the Atlanta prosecutor is charged with theft. Public record shows Meyer was one of 2 men stopped in a pickup truck at the entrance to this subdivision not far from Meyer's home. It was after dark. The pickup was driving with its headlights off, and the truck was loaded with lumber allegedly stolen from this new home site. The truck was impounded, and Robert Meyer and the driver were placed under arrest. In an interview today, Meyer would not comment on that theft case, but he confirmed the contempt charges and his suspension by the bar. However, the solicitor denies all allegations of ticket fixing.
And I encourage anyone to look. Every case that I have ever touched down here now has my name on it, and it follows a paper trail, and I encourage anyone from any agency to come down here and go through those with great scrutiny.
You began your report by telling us that Louise Hornsby is Meyer's boss down there. What does she say about his history of problems with the law?
Well, I'll tell you, Mike, I cannot give you the answer to that question because Hornsby has not agreed to our repeated requests for an interview about her operations, even though we sent her this letter and even when I was at her very office this morning.
And what about the theft charges against Robert Meyer that he faces now, Brenda?
The theft charges, after months of delays in this case, Meyer finally faces his preliminary hearing on the theft charges tomorrow.
Amazing story. An Atlanta court solicitor involved in an alleged ticket fixing scheme. Our exclusive 11 News cover story is coming up. Stay with us. Tonight at 11 o'clock. He's an Atlanta solicitor linked to an alleged ticket fixing scheme. Tonight, new evidence that he may have been on the city payroll illegally. Our exclusive
11 News uncovers a traffic court solicitor apparently illegally on the city payroll. Our exclusive investigation continues. Told you about last night.
Mayor Bill Campbell says the days of an Atlanta court solicitor with a criminal record are numbered. Brian?
I've been dribbling.
Brian. Mike?
More fallout tonight from an 11 News cover story investigation of an Atlanta traffic court solicitor accused of ticket fixing. We uncover the allegations in a complaint against Solicitor Robert Meyer filed with the Georgia Bar. In an exclusive interview, Atlanta Mayor Bill Campbell tells 11 News reporter Jim Shuler tonight that Meyer was hired improperly, may be serving illegally, and should be removed from the city payroll directly.
He was not appointed by any mayor that I have known. I've seen no letter of appointment, and I think, therefore, he is serving improperly.
Mayor Bill Campbell, in an exclusive interview, reacts to our continuing 11 News investigation into allegations of city traffic court corruption. Just an hour earlier, Atlanta City Traffic Court Solicitor Robert Meyer had appeared at a courthouse outside his jurisdiction, accused of conduct outside the law. Meyer was facing charges of theft, and for the 6th time in a year, his case was again postponed. Records show Robert Meyer was one of 2 men jailed by police for allegedly stealing a pickup truck load of lumber from an Alpharetta construction site. The same Robert Meyer was also recently named in a complaint filed with the Georgia Bar. It alleges he offered to fix DUI traffic tickets. It's a charge Meyer denies. But following our 11 News investigation, Traffic Court Solicitor General Louise Hornsby tells us she is investigating those allegations. She may hold a news conference later. Hornsby's reaction comes as 11 News has learned Robert Meyer may have been working on her payroll illegally. This official City of Atlanta memorandum obtained during our traffic court probe states Robert Meyer was improperly hired by Hornsby's office, hired without the required official appointment by the mayor, and without the knowledge or consent of the City Department of Finance. In this surveillance tape submitted to investigators, Meyer himself describes how Louise Hornsby hired him for the job.
She said, I ain't got the manpower for this, and the people I got ain't adequate. They just don't know how to try. Come on down here and help me.
It is very troubling, this entire sequence of events.
Now, Mayor Bill Campbell announces the city will seek the removal of Robert Meyer as a Pro Hoc Assistant Traffic Court Solicitor.
Pro Hoc vices that have not been appointed clearly can be removed because they've never been appointed properly in the first place. But ultimately, this entire sorry episode at the traffic court must come to a conclusion very quickly, and we're working on that as we speak.
I'm not clear now. Has the Solicitor General, Louise Hornsby, actually agreed to an interview about the hiring practices?
Well, no, not with us. We made another request today after we said last night that we were going to again.
Right.
And the only quote that we got from Hornsby was the message that she left on my answering machine today. And you saw that in the story.
What about those theft charges against Robert Meyer in Alpharetta?
He will be facing those charges again. The court date has been set, believe it or not, for the month of December. This is after 6 delays now, 6 postponements in the trial. But from the mayor's comments tonight, it would appear that the city of Atlanta intends to take action on their behalf much sooner than that.
All right, Jeff, thanks.
2 days ago, in an exclusive 11 News cover story, we told you about accusations of DUI ticket fixing against an assistant Atlanta traffic court solicitor. 11 News has now learned solicitor Robert Meyer has been fired by Mayor Bill Campbell. Jim Shuler has the exclusive story.
Only the mayor has the authority to appoint Pro Hoc solicitors.
That was the opinion from the city attorney's office today after Mayor Bill Campbell promised to investigate an assistant traffic court solicitor accused of ticket fixing.
To the best of our knowledge, he was never appointed by any mayor.
And just last night, Mayor Campbell promised swift action if the city law department found solicitor Robert Meyer was hired illegally.
We're continuing our investigation, but this is but another very sorry episode in what must be something that will have to be dealt with very quickly.
And solicitor Robert Meyer was officially fired by mid-afternoon.
As the mayor indicated yesterday, there's a letter going to Mr. Meyer today informing him that because his appointment had been done in violation of the city code, that his employment was terminated effective today.
But even before Meyer was fired by the mayor, he was barred today from practicing in city traffic court.
He is prohibited from practicing as a solicitor in this court, period.
Chief Judge Carson B. Schaefer announced the restrictions on Meyer after all 7 city traffic court judges pledged to fight a lawsuit filed by Meyer's boss, Louise Hornsby. The judges met in chambers with city attorneys this morning to plan their response to the suit that accuses them of hindering traffic court prosecutors by denying access to all original traffic tickets. But the judges say they've been keeping those files under lock and key for 2 years now because too many DUI cases had simply vanished under the old system.
Do you have any idea exactly how many cases that disappeared or were mishandled before this system was presently put into operation?
I can't give you an exact number, but I can just show you here that there's numbers of them, and they're all DUIs.
This is a computer printout of cases from when?
From 1988 to present.
Jim Shuler, 11 News.
into Atlanta's traffic court.
It started with accusations of ticket fixing, and as we reported yesterday, one so-called ad hoc solicitor was fired. Now, as the investigation widens, we're learning of other lawyers who were hired improperly, who never got the go-ahead from the mayor's office to be on the city payroll. And this afternoon, yet another person fired. Jim Shuler has the exclusive details.
We're looking to see if there are any other appointments that were made without the proper authority. And if that is the case, the same course of action would be taken.
That's what we couldn't report last night, that another firing was imminent at the traffic court solicitor's office, that another termination letter like the one to Solicitor Robert Meyer would be sent out today to Solicitor Thomas Burton. The mayor's office says Burton, like Meyer, was also improperly hired as a pro-hack assistant by Solicitor Louise Hornsby.
So this afternoon, a letter will be sent to Mr. Burton, Thomas Burton is his name, terminating his employment with the city.
The city's chief operating officer will notify those pro-hack assistants, quote, that the manner in which they were appointed is not in compliance with city charter, and their employment with the traffic court of the city of Atlanta is terminated effective today. Mayor Bill Campbell promised swift action when the improper hiring practices were discovered, and more action from City Hall is still ahead.
I'm concerned about many things at the traffic court. It is simply not functioning as we would like. The solicitor's office is not prosecuting cases as is its charge, according to statute, in the manner that I think is most effective. And we are studying as to how we can remedy this problem.
And as you might guess, there was considerable fallout among the city traffic court judges today over the discovery of yet another pro-hack traffic court solicitor hired apparently behind the mayor's back. Now, after a letter like this one to Robert Meyer went out from City Hall this afternoon, we reached Chief Traffic Court Judge Carson B. Schaefer. And Judge Schaefer told us that as of today, the judges have already advised Solicitor General Louise Hornsby that any pro-hack solicitors appearing in their traffic court will have to show the necessary documentation of their appointment before they can prosecute any cases in his courts.
Okay, let's just make sure we made it clear. This second solicitor is not being accused of fixing tickets.
That's true.
Right, Jim?
That's true. To make it clear, the second solicitor is not accused in any way of being involved in the ticket fixing. Those allegations were made only against Robert Meyer. The second firing, like the first of Robert Meyer, is because of an improper hiring practice.
Got it. All right. Thank you, Jim. Well, 11 News has obtained...
Many of them had their lives destroyed.
The Crusaders step in to help fight for justice and stop the persecution of whistleblowers.
It's time for action. It's time for a crusade.
The Crusaders. Now there's someone on your side.
Watch the Crusaders.
Court. Tonight, 11 News learned Alpharetta police have a warrant for the arrest of former assistant solicitor Robert Meyer. Jim Shuler is here with the latest on our continuing investigation into the Atlanta traffic court scandal.
Angela, the Georgia Bar Association once suspended Robert Meyer from practicing law. Then last fall, the mayor of Atlanta fired him from the traffic court. And now an Alpharetta City Court judge has issued a bench warrant for his arrest. The former assistant solicitor of Atlanta's traffic court was facing theft charges. Now Robert Meyer will be jailed for failing to appear in court.
Robert A. Myers, Robert A. Myers, Robert A. Myers, come into court. King bonding, king bonding, king bonding. Produce a body of Robert Myers, the bond will be forfeited. Move that the bond be forfeited, Your Honor. No response from the defendant or the bond.
All right, bond is
But defendant Robert Meyer, himself an attorney, did not appear in Alpharetta City Court Thursday night to answer those charges of theft by taking. Police records show the former Atlanta traffic court solicitor was one of 2 men jailed by police in the fall of '93 for allegedly stealing a pickup truck load of lumber from an Alpharetta construction site. Meyer's hearing had been reset some 7 times in 2 years before Judge Maurice Hilliard ordered the case bound over to Fulton State Court and forfeited Meyer's bond last night.
Mr. Harris, these folks got lawyers. Is there any messages from them?
I've had no response from Mr. Spruill on either the Jordan case or the Myers case. I don't know whether Mr. Spruill represents the Jordan person, but he does the Myers person.
Okay, everybody was notified, though.
Yes, sir.
All right, okay, I'll sign the warrants, make them out.
The same Robert Meyer was also recently named in a complaint filed with the Georgia Bar, alleging he, quote, offered to fix tickets in Atlanta traffic court so he could generate more cash.
An Alpharetta pawn shop operator says he took this store surveillance tape to the FBI.
Well, I'm dealing with the I have got to start turning cash. I got another week of this hellhole down there.
Meyer denies the ticket-fixing allegations. Nonetheless, Atlanta's Mayor Campbell said Meyer was illegally hired and had him removed from the city payroll after our investigative report aired last fall. Now, the judge presiding over the Alpharetta theft case has signed a bench warrant for the former traffic court solicitor's arrest.
Case transferred to state court of Fulton County after he has been taken into custody. I'll issue bench warrant for both of them. Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, it was Atlanta's Solicitor General Louise Hornsby who hired Robert Meyer to prosecute cases for the city of Atlanta. And since our traffic court investigation began, Mayor Campbell announced he'd seek the removal of Solicitor Hornsby as well. Angela?
Now, how will this charge affect Meyer's license to practice law?
Well, legal experts in Georgia tell us that an attorney like Meyer, with a history of suspension in his background like Meyer, could face possible disbarment if he is convicted of a theft charge.
All right, thank you, Jim. Fulton County Court. Tonight, 11 News learned Alpharetta police have a warrant for the arrest of former assistant solicitor Robert Meyer. Jim Shuler is here with the latest on our continuing investigation into the Atlanta traffic court scandal.
Angela, the Georgia Bar Association once suspended Robert Meyer from practicing law. Then last fall, the mayor of Atlanta fired him from the traffic court. And now, an Alpharetta City Court judge has issued a bench warrant for his arrest. The former assistant solicitor of Atlanta's traffic court was facing theft charges. Now Robert Meyer will be jailed for failing to appear in court.
Robert A. Myers, Robert A. Myers, Robert A. Myers, come into court. King bonding, king bonding, king bonding. Produce a body, Robert Myers, the bond will be forfeited. Move that the bond be forfeited, Your Honor. No response from the defendant or the bond.
All right, so bond is
But defendant Robert Meyer, himself an attorney, did not appear in Alpharetta City Court Thursday night to answer those charges of theft by taking. Police records show the former Atlanta traffic court solicitor was one of 2 men jailed by police in the fall of '93 for allegedly stealing a pickup truck load of lumber from an Alpharetta construction site. Meyer's hearing had been reset some 7 times in 2 years before Judge Maurice Hilliard ordered the case bound over to Fulton State Court and forfeited Meyer's bond last night.
Mr. Harris, these folks got lawyers. Is there any messages from them?
I've had no response from Mr. Spruill on either the Jordan case or the Myers case. I don't know whether Mr. Spruill represents the Jordan person, but he does the Myers person.
Okay, everybody was notified, though.
Yes, sir.
All right, okay, I'll sign the warrants, make them out.
The same Robert Meyer was also recently named in a complaint filed with the Georgia Bar, alleging he, quote, offered to fix tickets in Atlanta traffic court so he could generate more cash. An Alpharetta pawn shop operator says he took this store surveillance tape to the FBI.
Well, I'm dealing with the I have got to start turning cash. I got another week of this hellhole down there.
Meyer denies the ticket-fixing allegations. Nonetheless, Atlanta's Mayor Campbell said Meyer was illegally hired and had him removed from the city payroll after our investigative report aired last fall. Now, the judge presiding over the Alpharetta theft case has signed a bench warrant for the former traffic court solicitor's arrest.
Case transferred to state court of Fulton County after he has been taken into custody. I'll issue bench warrant for both of them.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, it was Atlanta's Solicitor General Louise Hornsby who hired Robert Meyer to prosecute cases for the city of Atlanta. And since our traffic court investigation began, Mayor Campbell announced he'd seek the removal of Solicitor Hornsby as well. Angela?
Now, how will this charge affect Meyer's license to practice law?
Well, legal experts in Georgia tell us that an attorney like Meyer, with a history of suspension in his background like Meyer, could face possible disbarment if he is convicted of a theft charge.
All right, thank you, Jim.